Hello, am I audible and visible? Good evening, how are you?
Yes, yeah, you're audible and visible. Good evening. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing great. Did you have your dinner?
No. I will have my dinner after the session.
Okay, that's pretty late. 10:30 is, it's pretty late according to me. But yes, when do you go to sleep then? If you have dinner at 10:30, then when do you go to sleep?
Say 11:30.
11:30? That why? I mean, that's too late, honestly. I I mean, I am nobody to lecture you on this. I go to
No,
sleep
no,
at
you are absolutely
12:30 or 1. But
uh,
yeah.
you are absolutely right. And I also want to go to bed early, and I also want to have dinner early. But the problem is there that there are two other members who are not in favor of that, and they always go late to bed and they take dinner late. So under compulsion, I'll have to follow them. I have no other option.
Got it. This conflict used to always happen in my house as well. My dad, he wanted to have dinner late, right? So he usually wanted to have dinner after 10:30, right? And my mother, she was very strict. She wanted to have dinner at 9 if possible, right?
Hmm.
So basically what happened, my mom, whenever possible, she used to eat at 9, and she used to be like, you have your own dinner, I am going going to sleep, right? And I used to follow my mom very ardently. I also had dinner with my mom, right? So later on, what happened, my dad also started adjusting, you know. So under compulsion, he also started having dinner at 9. And now it's actually a very good thing to have dinner by 9 or 9:30. You should have it by 7 probably, but still it's a good thing to have dinner early.
I am, if you ask me, I am in favor of taking dinner at 8 p.m. and go to
Hmm.
bed at 10 p.m. So there is a 2 hours gap between taking dinner and going to bed. That is the ideal
Exactly.
thing to do. But once I also try to do that. So sometimes I ate my dinner at 8 p.m. and went to bed. But for that you have to have the dinner ready. So you have to depend on
Hmm.
my others. I mean, in my case, I have to depend on my wife. So if she does not
Hmm.
prepare it in time, so I can do anything.
All right, all right. What about you? Do you like to cook? Do you know how to
Yeah,
cook?
yeah. Sometimes I do. Yeah, I love to cook. Yes.
Wow, that's really, really great. Honestly, this is one thing that my father personally has never been able to master. I remember it during the COVID time, since my mom is a nurse, she was not in the house, right? She had to go for like 24/7 duty, right? So she was in the hospital for 15 days or so. And at those 2 weeks, I learned how to cook and I learned how to survive on my own, right? Because my dad, he's a very miserable cook, honestly. So basically he can't even fry potatoes, or he can't even chop potatoes properly. And that 2 weeks, I think I made him sit down and I taught him a lot of things about chopping vegetables. So he used to be the helping hand. And of course I couldn't survive. I wouldn't have been able to learn how to cook without his help, right, without him being the support. But yes, for sure, he is still learning. And I recently went home and I had, I think he made some bhaji, right, some fritters. So
Hmm.
that was also really, I mean, I don't want to say anything bad, but it was, I just had it somehow. I just ate it somehow.
Okay.
I
Got
guess
it.
I
Got
guess
it.
since you love to cook, you must have a lot of knowledge about cooking. And what kind of dishes do you usually like to cook?
Yeah. So I like to cook. Say I can prepare rice and dal. Okay. Fry is
Mhm.
also simple thing to do. Then I
Yeah.
can make this fish curry and mutton curry or chicken curry also. It is not, it may not be up to the mark that one would like to have, but still it's okay, I think.
Got it. I'm sure it is better than whatever my father can cook. So yeah. Okay. I know the
And
Bengali and the, yes, please go on.
I just wanted to add that during this COVID time, because there was ample time, there was no office, so most of the time I spent in the kitchen just to pass my time at the time.
Oh wow. That's really great, honestly. My dad also tried to help a lot, but he usually created a lot of mess in the kitchen. To an extent that I almost got frustrated. I was like, "You are banned. You are not going to step into the kitchen anymore. You stay out and you do all the chopping and all the preliminary preparation, but you do not step into the kitchen, no matter what happens." So no,
Okay.
he tries his best, but again, there are some things that you're not meant to do, I guess, right?
Hmm.
If you ask me to play cricket, I am really a very horrible at it, right? And I am not sports has never been my cup of tea. So yeah, I'm decent at chess, but everything else am not really great at. I'm good at playing cards. What about you?
Oh.
I think you are a very sporty person. We were talking about cricket and other sports, some
No,
other
I did
session,
not
right?
play at a very high level. I just play in the like this para
Mhm.
khela like that.
Right,
So
locality, in the
locality,
locality.
yes. And I was very fond of playing indoor game like carom also. So
Mhm.
when I was in working in office, so we had a recreation club there, and we used to play carom daily in the evening after office hours.
All right. Carom and cricket.
Yeah.
All right. I remember my dad used to like to play carom when he was a kid, right?
Okay.
But again, I think as we grow up, we just lose touch of all of these things. We grow out of it, I guess, right? My dad always
Good.
tells me stories of when he used to play carom, because I love playing cards, and I got a deck of cards as a gift on my birthday. But unfortunately, I did not have anybody to play cards with, so it was a very sad thing. I still have the deck of cards, but it's still unopened. I have never opened it yet. I have not opened it yet because I did not find somebody I can play cards with. Right. But
Okay.
again, I used to play on the computer, cards and chess both.
Oh, so solitaire is one of the popular game I think on computer.
Right. I know how to play. I have to play solitaire and bridge. I learned very quickly. I think I learned bridge while I was okay. I think at that point I newly got that internet connection. We used to have dongles, right? In
Hmm.
back in 2015,
Yeah,
14,
yeah,
15, we
dongles.
used to have those
Yes, yes.
dongles, right? So I got that dongle and I opened YouTube and I learned how to play cards. Right, and bridge was the first one that I learned. I knew how to play solitaire because it was on the computer, right? Windows 7, everybody remembers that, I hope.
Mm.
Right. So these games were very popular back in the day. Nowadays, video games. I guess I have never played PUBG or Free Fire or whatever these video games are. I have actually never played all of these things. Right. I have played GTA to a certain till a certain age, but again, not really very good at it. Right. But I think these video games are replacing outdoor games or even mind games, right? Or indoor games which require intellect, like chess or card games, right? How do you
Mm.
think this is negatively affecting the youth, especially the teenagers?
These video games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it affects actually because you have to be there always, and your mind always active on that particular thing, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
think about others, what is going
Right.
on around you. And the whole, if you spend the whole day within this area, so it really, because I used to spend a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
playing video games, and then I felt it takes a toll on my health actually.
Oh my God.
And
You know how to play video games?
small one, not like
Which
how to
ones?
say, I forgot actually their name, it's long
Subway
ago.
Surfer, Candy Crush.
Not Candy Crush, before that
Uh-huh.
there are
Okay.
some
Temple Run.
there is one small like I mean I cannot describe it. It was so long ago. It was in the year 1998, I think, and I used to spend
Okay.
a lot of time even at
Mario.
Mario,
Easy
Mario. Yeah, yeah.
Mario.
Right, right. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
So even late at night, like 1 a.m., 1:30, 2 a.m. sometimes I spent. It was so addictive.
Exactly. That is the point of all these video games. They are going to make you an addict. at the end of
Mhm.
the day, right? And I think this is having a very negative toll on the minds of the youth as of now, because I see people spending a lot of money, splurging in fact an
Mm.
extravagant amount of money, right, into these games. Like they want, they spend 5,000 out of out of an impulse basically, and very impulsively they spend a lot of money on these games, which is basically futile, I believe, right? Like in no way it is going to help you improve.
Yes, and sometimes we becomes resilient also because some we fail once attempt, two attempt, but we just go on doing it.
Right. So yes, of course you become, you have that perseverance, you develop that perseverance, right? But again, that perseverance needs to be used in the right place, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
What is the use of second? Yeah. What is the use of being so perseverant when you are playing video games? It's just if
Well,
you are too
simply
perseverant,
waste
then
of
you
time.
yeah, then you are going to make, then you are basically going to become an addict, nothing else,
Yeah.
right?
That's why nowadays, not only nowadays, but for it's had been long that I have stopped playing games on mobile phone or computer, whatever it may be.
Right. I also remember I used to love playing Purple Place. I love to play Purple Place on the computer, and I love playing chess. I love playing cards as usual, as I already said. But I had a limit, you know. I never, thank God, my parents had never intervened into all of these things. But on my own, I realized that okay, this is this is futile at the end of the day. It's just too much,
Yes.
and I should not get addicted to it, no matter what. So I guess it was a very good realization that I made as a kid, that I had as a kid. So yeah, that really affected, or not affected, that really had a very good impact on my journey, right? But when I see people getting addicted to these games, and I see them actually they have very less social skills, right? The social
Mm.
skills it minimizes the social skills to such an extent that you can't even feel like communicating. You don't even feel like communicating with somebody else, right? So what do you have to say on this? How does it affect the students, as not the students, not the teenagers, and their, especially their social skills or their communicative skills?
Even in my case, at my home, I can see that my son, when after coming from office, most of the time he spend on his mobile playing games. So this is what happening. I have told him several times that it is not good to play games. You can do something else. You can learn something on YouTube. There are so many things to learn. So where are you spending your time? But he is kind of addictive that he will go to bed, but he would not sleep until 2 a.m. like that, and he spends his time just it is futile, just spending his time playing these video games on mobile phone. So that's why, so he does not have to do anything around what is going, he doesn't know in his lanes or the area that he lives in. He does not have any connection with other people also. So he goes to office and he comes back and he is busy with his mobile phone. So this is what is going on. So he's cut from the social activities.
Right. What about his connections in the office? Does he have good friends? At least I think he
Yeah,
had good.
it is
He has
there.
good
It is
colleagues,
there.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Most of the time they go together and they do party, go somewhere like few days back you went to Shillong for attending a concert. So that what they do. He does.
Oh,
Uh,
was it an international band?
yes, yes.
The concert, Coldplay.
I
Was
just
it
forgot.
Coldplay?
I just forgot the
I
name.
don't think Coldplay had their concert in Shillong, but it might be the case. I also wanted to attend, but again, I had my exams, so I couldn't. I have been a huge Coldplay fan ever since I was in sixth or seventh grade. So your son is really lucky if he got to see Coldplay this year.
I don't. I asked him, but it was not the name of the band. Something else.
Okay, all right. Then it's fine. Otherwise, I would have been really jealous of him. I really envy these people a lot who get to go to concerts, right? I hope someday I am that rich that I can afford these tickets without any second thoughts, right? And I can travel from one place to another and attend these concerts, because again, there are many artists that I really admire, and I would hearing them live would be just like a magical thing for me, honestly. It's now in my dreams, but I hope that turns into reality someday. Talking about music, is there any musician or any singer, any music artist who you really like or who you really admire?
Nowadays, I don't actually into music very much because earlier when there was no YouTube or thing, because at that time I used to hear music. Uh, I would be honest to tell you that I did not understand the lyrics, but I used to listen to the music like Michael Jackson, Boney M, Osibisa, then Madonna, all those
Oh
oh,
my god.
during 90s. But if you ask me the lyrics, I did not know. I just went by the
Hmm.
beats. I like to hear them. So that's what I used to listen to at that when I was young. Like I just joined my service, but nowadays I hardly listen to the music. Whenever I get time, I just on YouTube and watching this English conversation or any news. Like nowadays, I am watching this. Palki Sharma Upadhyay.
Yes,
Here is it.
who doesn't?
So
She is a very eloquent speaker.
yeah, so most of the time I watch her videos. I mean, the news that she
Okay.
read on Vantage. Yes,
All right, all right. So basically, you are very much focused into English, right? Focused on
yes,
English.
yes,
So, all right. I mean, to such an extent that you do not even listen to music. For me, imagining a life or even a single day without music is just something unimaginable for me. Honestly, I can't even imagine living without music. Because when I
yes,
wake up,
yes.
the first thing I do, I plug in my earphones and I just listen to some kind of music.
Yeah, and there is a saying that who does not love to listen to music, they are very cruel.
Mhm.
It is said. I don't know how far it is true.
I am not sure if it is true or not, but yes, for sure, I do believe that people who listen to music, they have a better, improved mental health state than the ones who do not. Well, maybe my observation is a little biased because I am more into music. When you talk about Palki Sharma Upadhyay, I'm sure you like to listen to her because the way she speaks is very, very eloquent, right? What is the meaning of eloquent, by the way?
Eloquent mean is very vocal.
Right. It's to a certain extent it's very pleasing, and it's also very persuasive, right? So the way she speaks it's also very convincing, right? And it's
Okay.
pleasing. So she's a very eloquent speaker, right? The way she articulates
Hmm.
herself, it's amazing, right? Even I like to listen to her a lot. I think Palki Sharma and Shashi Tharoor, these two people I have idolized a lot in my entire life. Not because of their views. I certainly do not completely agree with their views all the time, right? There might be differences in opinions, but the way they articulate themselves, it's really worth admiration, I believe, right? So yes, this why there is one idiom that I would like to teach you regarding this, right? The gift of the gab.
Yeah,
Okay,
keep up the gap. That is something that you have the talent, gifted talent. You can speak very well. You can have the attention of others when you speak. That
right.
is gifted.
The ability to speak with eloquence and fluency. What is the meaning of gab?
I don't know that gap.
Gab means to talk.
Okay.
All right. And when you have the gift of the gab, then you're basically a very good speaker. You're good at
Yeah.
talking,
Yes.
right? So that becomes the idiom for the day. Thought for the day, we have idiom for the day.
I just went to ask my son what was the this music party. There's Ed Sheeran.
Oh, he went to watch Ed Sheeran's concert. Oh my god.
Yes.
I am jealous. I have also well, I'm not a huge Ed Sheeran fan, but I think he's very talented. Ever since I was young, I have been more into bands than solo artists. So it started with One Direction, then all Green Day and the Backstreet Boys. So from Backstreet Boys to One Direction, or even now, not a BTS fan. I did not like BTS that much, but yeah, I have admired bands a lot more than solo artists. But for sure, Ed Sheeran is a very talented artist, and I'm sure he must have enjoyed that concert a lot. That's the amount of luxury that I want to have someday. That I get to go to concerts every now and then. Right.
Okay, before
Okay.
we end the
So.
session, I just want to ask about, I want to clear myself about
Mhm,
one idiom that is
mhm,
to each of his own. That is,
mhm.
it's a one's own uh, idea like that, to each of his own.
To Okay, to each of his own. Are you sure it's to each of his own?
Yeah, to each of his own, or to each of their own, like that.
Right.
Mane,
I have heard
it
that.
is their, it is their own choice, like that, I think.
Right. I have heard it's to each their own. I am not off. I am not sure again. Then I'll have to confirm.
To
Right.
each
But
their own.
whatever
Okay,
it is,
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if off is there or not in between. Right. But yeah,
No, no,
to
I am
each
also
their
not
own.
sure. Okay.
All right. This idiom basically means that it is you're okay with whatever preferences everybody has, right? So you might not
Okay.
totally agree with their views, their preferences, their choices, but again, to each their own, which means that, okay, they can live their own lives, they have their own preferences, and I'm respectful towards that.
Okay.
Even though I might
Okay.
or not understand or I might not agree, I respect their choices, right? So it
Okay.
talks about,
Okay.
it is more of an inclusive idiom which talks about everybody else's preferences and different choices that we make in our lives. So the opinions, preferences, choices, to each their own, right? So they
To
can
each
have
their
their
own.
own opinions. Okay, no
Yes.
matter what you believe, you should always respect them for their
Okay. Okay. So
opinions.
whatever they are saying, I may not believe it, but
Mhm.
I can say, okay, to each their own.
Yes, I may not believe it, I may not agree, but to
Okay.
each their own. Whatever it is, I'm fine with it. I respect it. That
Okay.
is what you say. Okay. All
Okay.
right, so we had another great discussion today. Do you have any other questions that I can answer?
Okay. So you have asked me just one pronunciation. There is what, because it is W last time we did. So it's
Whirlwind.
another. So this time, this wherewithal, is it correct pronunciation?
Where? Can you
Withal.
please come again?
Where,
Mm-hmm.
Withal. Wherewithal.
Okay, wherewithal. Right.
Wherewithal.
Wherewithal. Yes, correct.
Wherewithal. Wherewithal. Am I
Yes.
pronouncing right?
Usually, yes, you are pronouncing it correctly. Most importantly, when we speak in English, the pronunciation of the, it's not the, it's the. So when we say wherewithal, it is not the, it's the. There's a certain sense. Okay, I am getting too much into the details, but overall, you are pronouncing it correctly. This much of pronunciation can be overlooked, right? Even I make that
Okay.
error. All of us are bad at it. There all of us are bad at it, actually, right? But always we need to keep improving. So I thought, let's correct that. So wherewithal, it's correct.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. So I hope I get to see you once again. Do remember the
Yeah,
idiom,
sure.
the gift of the gap. So next time you talk about Palki Sharma Upadhyay or maybe some other speaker that you really admire, then you can say that XYZ. I think they are very eloquent speaker and they have truly got the gift of the gap,
Yes,
right?
I will
Also,
definitely use it.
we have used one more word very often today, that is futile, right? So if
Which
in
one?
case futile,
Oh,
futile,
futile. Yes. Mm-hmm.
yes, which means useless basically,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
In case
Yes.
futile becomes too repetitive, you can also say in vain,
In vain. Yeah.
right?
It was in
Yeah,
vain.
in vain, right? All our efforts
Or
were in vain.
futile. Futile. In case of futile, fruitless also can be used.
Yes, fruitless,
Okay.
right? Again, fruitless because there is no outcome. You did not get the desired
Mm,
outcome,
mm,
right?
mm.
So in vain, fruitless, these kind of words can be used. I think I used it too often. I think I've used it twice or thrice. So I thought, no, I should not use it that often, and I should tell you also that we should be more inclusive in terms of vocabulary and try and think of synonyms as much as possible, right?